Thank you for joining me here at the First Alert Desk on Atlanta News First Plus. Here are some of the top stories we're following for Tuesday at 10 a.m. I hope you're having a good day. First Alert Meteorologist Rodney Harris will be joining in a moment to talk about the forecast ahead for this week. I want to take you out right now to this story. Atlanta police searching for a missing mother and her 3-year-old son. If you have any information, this is an urgent search for these two, 31-year-old Ariana Merriweather and her son, 3-year-old Regal Thunderberg. They were last seen Monday along Campbellton Road in southwest Atlanta. The two have been reported missing as of this morning. Merriweather described as 4'9", weighing about 121 pounds with black hair and brown eyes, and of course to your right you can see her young son Regal. Police do believe that Regal is in her custody at this time, but if you have any information on either of their whereabouts, you are asked to call 911 or the Atlanta Police Homicide and Adult Missing Persons Unit. That non-emergency line for that is 404-546-4235. You can also text any information to Crime Stoppers Atlanta. Again, we have more information as well as all of this information and links on our website, atlantanewsfirst.com. All right, here's a story that we broke to you earlier this year on Atlanta News First Plus. Today, the man accused of shooting 3 people this summer at the Peachtree Center Mall could face a judge for a hearing today. Atlanta News First, Asia Wilson reports from the Fulton County Courthouse.
Back in June, Jeremy Malone was awaiting trial on an unrelated criminal matter. Well, it never went to trial, and years later, the shooting happened. And I could tell you, it was a very chaotic day. The 34-year-old is accused of getting into an argument with a man inside of a food court known as the Hub at Peachtree Center in downtown Atlanta. Investigators say during that fight back in June, Malone took out his gun and shot the man, then proceeded to walk around the food court and shot more. 2 other people were hit, a 69-year-old woman and a 70-year-old woman. Following this shooting, Atlanta police stated Malone should not have had a gun. He was arrested nearly a dozen times before. In fact, police arrested Malone for possession of a knife during the commission of a felony and aggravated assault in April of 2021. The day after the mall shooting, Mayor Andre Dickens spoke out about all of this.
Yesterday's tragic events reflected a breakdown in the criminal justice system and our social structures on multiple levels.
Now, during this shooting, the suspect was shot by an off-duty officer who saw everything play out and then intervened. Malone faces several charges in this case. He's expected in front of a judge for a case management hearing at 9:30 this morning. In downtown Atlanta, Asia Wilson, Atlanta News First.
And taking you out live right now inside the courtroom for what is a hearing for YSL co-defendant Shannon Stillwell in a separate courtroom of this building. A hearing for YSL co-defendant Diamante Kendrick, Now, the two have been found not guilty by a jury in Georgia's longest trial that caught national attention. However, they still have to appear in court today to address lingering charges that they face from incidences at the jail, from other charges that they received while in custody. So we are streaming this for you live on Atlanta News First Plus. You can go to our Courts and Trials channel. You can also join the conversation on YouTube Live. We are streaming both of these courtrooms for you for both defendants, Shannon Stillwell and Diamante Kendrick. You can follow along gavel to gavel as we take you through today. All right, getting you out to a story that has made national news, but has a lot of Metro Atlanta thinking more locally. Schools now bolstering their security after that tragic school shooting in Madison, Wisconsin, as police continue searching for answers. Now, to give you a little bit of background in case you weren't with us yesterday when we first reported this to you on Atlanta News First, Police now investigating after they say a teenager opened fire at a private Christian school, killing a student and a teacher. That shooting happening inside a classroom in a study hall where students were actively attending class. This is at the Abundant Life Christian School, as I mentioned, in Madison. This taking place yesterday at around 11 a.m. local time. The alleged shooter, 15-year-old Natalie Rupnow, police say she went by Samantha, and they do believe that she ended up shooting herself during the incident, and she later died. Now, this, of course, hitting home for a lot of families in Metro Atlanta. You remember just a couple months ago, the families in Barrow County having to live through and reel from the loss at Apalachee High School. And I just want to bring up the victims in that shooting as we talk about this story and remember the lives that have been lost. Now, since that shooting, there's been a lot of conversation across metro districts about putting student safety first and foremost across the state. Atlanta News 1's Sarah Hammond reports on what schools here are doing.
We spoke to Ronald Applin, Chief of Police for Atlanta Public Schools, just hours after this shooting in Madison, Wisconsin. And he says they have protocols and guidelines in place to try to prevent something like this from happening in his district. He says they're also putting in some new safety measures in place. He says to ensure the safety of students and teachers, they're hiring more school resource officers in addition to already having at least one SRO at each middle and high school campus. They're going to add them to elementary schools. In Gwinnett County, they're also adding new school resource officers while also piloting an AI gun detection system for surveillance cameras. And Applin also emphasized new safety vestibules in Atlanta Public Schools, which adds an extra set of locked doors and a vetting system to help keep these threats from accessing the schools.
The human factor is important, you know, as long as that person inside doesn't let just any and everybody inside, will be fine. So if they don't know who you are, they can leave you out there and call the police officer, comes out, screen you outside. So it gives you another layer, right, to keep someone from getting inside the building.
On the statewide level, the Department of Education says school security is a top priority for this upcoming legislative session. They say they're going to ask for more funding for SROs and security alert systems. In Fulton County, Sarah Hammond for Atlanta News First.
And you know we'll stay on top of that story as details develop. All right, let's talk about Christmas, shall we? A lot of folks this time of year wondering if there is a chance for a white Christmas. Well, it's not looking so good this year. Early forecasters showing that temperatures could be between 10 to 15 degrees above normal for most of the country on Christmas Day. It's expected to be unseasonably warm in the west and quite cold in the east. But even though it could be cold enough for snow in parts of the eastern U.S., the Climate Prediction Center says it's expected to be much drier than normal. So it's still early, but the forecast could change between now and Christmas Day. And as far as we're concerned here in Atlanta, it is warmer today if you step outside. First Alert Meteorologist Rodney Harris joins with a look at your forecast.
Not only is it warmer, Maria, but so check this out. The normal high for this time of year is 56. Today, 70 degrees. In the city of Atlanta, 70 degrees in Atlanta today. So definitely warming up here later on this afternoon. The last time we hit 70 in Atlanta, as a matter of fact, was before Thanksgiving. It was back on November the 25th. So warming up, not really warm yet. We actually had a pretty chilly morning earlier today. It's 60 in Atlanta. Just about everybody else are in the 50s this morning. But those warmer temperatures are coming. Here's your hour-by-hour forecast. At lunchtime, 64. 3 o'clock, there's that 70. And for the end of your commute, 63. Even tonight at dinner, at least toward the end of dinner, around 9 o'clock, if you're headed out, 59 degrees. So today's going to turn out to be a really good day. We did have some rain out there earlier this morning, mainly north of Atlanta. That's just about over. There could still be a passing shower, mainly in the mountains, but for the most part, it'll stay dry. What we're seeing right now, that's what we're going to see a lot of this afternoon going into the evening. We do still have our first alert weather day for Wednesday. This is why I want to take you to the high-resolution forecast model. We have a cold front moving through on Wednesday, and with that front, we are still forecasting some showers and maybe even an isolated storm or two Wednesday afternoon and evening. So Wednesday afternoon, the rain is moving into northwest Georgia. By Wednesday evening, as you're driving home from work, this is when the scattered showers and isolated storms will be around about a 40% coverage. Again, this is impacting you as you drive home from work Wednesday evening, and that will continue for at least the first part of dinner before that rain will start to move out. So again, that's why Wednesday is a first alert weather day. Your morning commute will be fine. It's the second half of the day, particularly as you're driving home from work, when we are forecasting, again, rain and maybe a few storms. Before that rain moves in, highs are going to get back into the 70s tomorrow, 73. So definitely warm today and tomorrow. After that front passes us by on Wednesday, we'll see a gradual cool down by Thursday. Thursday's a pretty decent day with the high of 62. Friday, 55. Saturday, we're down to 54 high, which is the first day of winter. And then for Sunday, 48. Monday, 45. So enjoy those 70s over the next couple of days because they're not going to last for too much longer. We'll keep you up to date on this forecast on Atlanta News First at noon and always in the First Alert Weather app. Until next time, we'll see you guys soon.